Now, the only way that coronavirus is going to rear its ugly head again in Australia is going to be if hotel quarantines spring a leak. Because put simply, local community transfer has effectively been killed off. Some of the ways that's been done we've had issues with, but where we sit tonight is a good place. When people come in from overseas, they go into these hotels. After 14 days, they either have it or they don't. If they don't, great, good, we move on. But just as there were problems in the Victorian hotel system, and that got wildly out of control, and it led to 800 people dying and millions of people being locked in their homes, other systems are not perfect. And while New South Wales is the gold standard when it comes to how to manage coronavirus, how they know the difference between putting out a grass fire and a bushfire, they know the difference between a ripple and a tsunami. Unlike other state governments, they are not infallible. Human beings are involved in all of this. And there is a problem in New South Wales hotel quarantine we've got to get on top of right now. I don't know why the people who work in servicing hotel quarantine still have jobs other than working and servicing in hotel quarantine. They should be being paid triple time, over the rates, to be working in the high-risk environments that they are. We should also be doing our best to work out whether the middle of the cities are the best places for these facilities, other places, I don't know. But one person who's a cleaner in hotel quarantine who had other jobs other than cleaning in hotel quarantine apparently now has the virus. And while at the moment the concern is only their family, well, you know all of the variables. How many places they've been, where they've gone, who they've been to. And that's what they're dealing with tonight, right now, in New South Wales.
This is a good warning for all of us that we have to maintain our vigilance.
But make no mistake, one case is a reminder about the hair trigger that other state premiers have put this country's economy and freedoms upon. When it was 20 people in South Australia, it was locked down for 6 days because someone told a lie, their health people believed it, and they truly believed there was a Radelaide strain of the virus. There are politicians who have won state and territory elections and national elections like New Zealand by saying, I kept you safe, and at a moment's notice closing the border, regardless of the actual risk to their citizens. And despite the fact that the border is about to come down in Western Australia to, frankly, the rest of the country, there's a bloke who has an election to win in March of next year. He will win that election because there isn't a politician in the world, with the obvious exception of Donald Trump, who has not won their election from incumbency in the time of COVID. And he knows that people in Western Australia seem to love the idea of throwing up the borders. We are talking about one case, and this is what a power-hungry political obsessive says on the eve of people being able to be reunited with their families. One case. Have a look.
The Chief Health Officer is seeking further advice from New South Wales and will continue to monitor the situation. Obviously, if the Chief Health Officer recommends that we delay opening to New South Wales, well then that is the decision we will make.
Rightio. Now, I was right way before the Queensland election that the borders would reopen on December the 1st. So I'll make this prediction. Between now and March, they will absolutely reclose the borders to Western Australia. They'll just work out whether it happens before Australia Day, after Australia Day, a month out or 2 months out from the state election. But all of this matters because the only reason we are coming out of a recession is because people are going back to work. The only way they're going back to work is because they're allowed to leave the house, because they're allowed to cross state borders. The consequences of these things are great for the few dozen people who are politicians, but they are terrible for the 25 million of us who have to pay for these people's games.